I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
So what are you drinking tonight, Mitchell?
Our beer this week is Santa Claus Hazy Holiday India Pale Ale. Brewed and canned at Westbrook Brewing Company in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. 7% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. We wish you a very pleasant wintertime holiday season full of whatever combination of family and or friends you find most enjoyable / least stressful. Really, we just hope that you eat and drink well. We made this beer to help you with the second thing. End quote. So as you can see, it is mid-April, and we have a beer from Christmas time. Well, holiday time, let's not discriminate. When we buy our beers, we try to find the cheap shit, and this was obviously, we've had it for a few months anyway, but it was after holiday season.
Yeah, it was probably in January when we bought it, and they had discounted it because it was a holiday beer. And
right. This 4-pack was probably $7 or something.
Yeah, and we haven't, chosen to drink it until now, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yay, modern canning.
Anyway, Christmas in April, everybody.
Woo!
What I have to say, this is hoppy and crisp and just absolutely wonderful. I really enjoy this a lot. I don't get any holiday type flavors, like there's no cinnamon or anything like that, but it's just a really, really good hazy IPA. I recommend it completely. It's good any time of the year. Mid-April's fine too. 10 out of 10. This is a real good one, and I haven't really liked an IPA in quite a while. I really like this one a lot.
It's really citrusy. If you hadn't have
is.
said it was a Christmas beer, I never would have gotten holiday beer. Because usually anytime someone puts something out, specifically for holiday, they're going pie spice, they're going heavy nutmeg, cinnamon, that kind of thing, and that's not it at all. It tastes like a really citrusy IPA to me.
Yep.
It's more bitter than I care for, to drink a lot of, but it's really tasty.
Mm-hmm. And I don't even get the 7% alcohol off of it at all. It's just really smooth and really, like I said, crisp earlier. It's just, it's so good. It's sparkly. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it gives me a real citrusy kind of...
Yeah, it gives me a tingly feeling right here in my chest. Right here.
I think that's heartburn, sweetie.
No, it doesn't hurt. It's like tingly titties, It feels really nice. So that's it for the beer. Let's get into the liquor. I was about to take a sip. Need to calm down. Our shot in the dark for the night. Uncle Nearest 1856 Premium Whiskey. We had it on a few weeks ago. Distilled and aged in Tennessee. Bottled by Uncle Nearest in Columbia, Tennessee. 50% alcohol by volume. If you would like to hear the full review, go back to episode number 141, which was called The Ghostest with the Mostest. This gets a 10 out of 10. It's fantastic. Shooting is a problem because it's so strong, but the taste is outstanding. This is actually the whiskey that I've been drinking recently. The past couple weeks, I've smoked a cigar on the back deck and had a glass of this, just because we had it, and I was like, yeah, this. It goes so well with the cigar, and I think I'm becoming a cigar guy now. So there's that. Leah got me cigars, 3 years ago for Valentine's Day.
It was like 3 years ago.
And I just haven't wanted to smoke them. And I've had one each of the past 2 weeks with a glass of Uncle Nearest 1856. Couldn't be happier about the choice. I've got one more cigar left in that pack, too.
And I bet it's stale as hell.
No, none of them have been stale so far. They haven't, which is amazing because I guess our house is a little humid. Counts as a humidor? I don't know.
The entirety of this region counts as a humidor, if you ask me, but whatever.
Well, that's it for the alcohols, Leah. So, you may take it away, madam. What are we going to do next?
All right. Well, we have a brand new member of the Possum Passo.
Oh, shit. I wasn't ready.
Shut up!
I wasn't ready at all. Okay, take it away.
You good? All right. I just wanted to welcome Laney to the Possum Passel.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon. It's possums like you that keep this show going. So welcome to the Passel. We'll be sending out that thank you letter in the sticker pack very soon. But thank you very much for, supporting our show. We appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you.
So thank you, Laney, our brand newest possum. And if anybody else wants to join the Possum Passel, you're more than welcome to do so at Southern Spirits. Nope. That's the wrong address. At patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast. And you can give us $1 or you can give us more dollars. It's up to you. You could give us no dollars, to be quite frank. We're happy just that you're listening to us, so thanks for that. But to those of you that go above and beyond, we super duper appreciate it. Paying for our servers coming up soon, and just knowing that we've got that money there to do it, and it's not going to cause, a financial burden on us is fantastic, and we appreciate that so much. So thank you, Possum Passel.
Excellent. And real quick, because you brought up something fun, the patrons, and I just remembered, I thought we had one last week that we forgot, and I think we did. I don't think we ever said Laura as well. I'm almost positive we didn't. So, welcome, Laura.
Okay, clearly I have missed an email, and I apologize.
So. I'm not sure if we
You know what? We're gonna do it anyway. If we didn't miss it, Laura, you get 2 times. If not, here's the first time. Laura, welcome to the Possum Passel. Can you calm down? You done?
Welcome, Laura.
Laura, thank you so much for joining the Possum Passel. It's awesome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Also a brand new possum. Welcome to the fam. We appreciate it very much.
Brand new possum from a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And we do, like Leah was saying, we have some sticker packs to send out. We did order a T-shirt for somebody that, we ordered it a couple weeks ago. So if it's not there, sorry, we still haven't sent out stickers though in a while. So
we've got to catch up on the sticker packets. So
I keep hitting everything.
Yeah, please stop doing that.
Sorry.
But anyway, thank you to our Possum Passel. You're fantastic. We love you very much. Etc. Anyway, thank you, Laura and Lainey. Y'all are awesome.
That's what I say to Leah every morning before we both leave for work. I love you, etc. Bye. See you about 5 o'clock.
He's joking, but I mean it's pretty close.
Etc.
Anyway, so thank you, possums.
Thank you, possums.
Next up on the agenda for the evening, Sassy Southern Sayings. Are you ready for it?
I'm so ready.
Okay. This one didn't come from my trauma closet, so that's pretty exciting.
We'll see.
The phrase is, well, you can't beat that with a stick.
It normally has to do with prices.
Mm-hmm.
I know that about it. It's about, if you go to, back when McDonald's had the dollar menu, now it's the value menu. Fuck off.
Like if it's not $1, it's not a real value.
Inflation has hurt all of us. You can't get a McDouble for $1 anymore.
Oh, my McTrauma.
But so you could go get, 2 McDoubles for $2, and you couldn't beat that with a stick, Leah. I guess because you can't beat the price, so you got to turn it into what you can beat with. I guess it's just in the South, people hit each other and things.
No, I think it's just a play on words. So I did a really in-depth Googling because we are a very well-researched podcast. I did an in-depth Googling asking different etymology websites about the origin of the phrase. And the phrase goes back to, about the 1810s, and it's used in a couple of different magazines and newspapers, but beyond that there's not really an actual origin that they can trace back to anything specifically. And it's always just like, you can't beat it with a stick. It's not like everybody just assumes that it's a play on word of beating a price versus beating something physically,
right? And
it's just a play on words.
It's a homonym,
kind of. And some people think that, like, I've seen people try to explain it online as to like you're pointing something out with a stick, and I don't know.
No, that's not
lots
it at
of
all.
weird shit. But as far as I could tell, etymologically speaking, it's just a play on words that's fun, and that a lot of old Southern folks say a lot. If my family is been known to say that a lot. But if you got a really good deal on a car or something, like, oh man, you can't beat that with a stick.
Yeah. Well, apparently you can beat a McDouble with about a 30-cent stick. God fucking damn it.
You're so salty about the McDouble. And
Speaking of so salty, let's talk about McDoubles.
Didn't they take a piece of cheese off of that too?
They never took it off. A McDouble has always been one piece of cheese with 2 patties. If you get the double cheeseburger, that's when 2 pieces of cheese come in.
I knew there was a difference, but I didn't know. Okay.
And back when McDoubles were $1, I had this conversation a few times with a friend of mine. I still remember it. I know he doesn't listen, so I'll just say it. His name was Robert, and he would always just get a double cheeseburger. And I was like, dude, get the McDouble. You save like 30 cents. He's like, it's worth the other piece of cheese for me to pay the other 30 cents or whatever it was. I was like, okay, that's fine.
But,
you want it, but
the thing is, but now it's probably not the same now, but back when I was working there in high school, you could order a McDouble cheaper and like order like a separate slice of cheese, and the slice of cheese was only like 10 cents. So you could get
like
yourself
on the side. I want a slice of cheese on the side.
You could add a slice of cheese for 10 cents, and it would be less expensive if you did it that way, but like a couple cents if you ordered the cheese separately. Then I think they've changed it since then, but back then.
You're telling me at McDonald's you can order a slice of cheese on the side? How is it wrapped up? How is it given to you? No. You apparently know about this. You've done it.
I've never done it. I've put in an order, but I was never someone that they trusted to touch food unless it was fries. Like,
I'm going to McDonald's and I'm ordering 20 slices of cheese.
I literally lit the vertical toaster on fire my first day on the job, so they didn't trust me to do hardly anything. I took orders, I took money, I cleaned bathrooms, I cleaned the lobby, I fried some French fries occasionally, but like, they didn't let me in the kitchen because I set the goddamn toaster on fire. And that is not a lie. Legitimately, my first day on the job, they used to have these like deluxe chicken sandwiches or whatever. Yeah. And they came on these honey wheat rolls, and they were thicker than the normal buns. Oh, and they had like a vertical toaster, so it kind of looked like a chute that goes down with a little belt, and you drop your buns up here, and it comes out down here toasted. Yeah. And if you drop this bun in, unfortunately they were thicker than what it could, so
you're supposed to torch it with a blowtorch, with a creme brulee torch.
No, you just had to be really careful, and you had to have, we had these like pushers, like plastic pushers or something. Anyway,
nobody told you about the pushers.
Excuse me. Anyway, I apparently did it wrong and got like a Big Mac bun stuck in with a chicken bun on the top, and anyway, I lit it on fire. Like, it was a brief fire. I got it put out very quickly. I just burnt a couple of buns, and it was a little smoky. That's it. There was no big like crazy flames, but like, they learned pretty soon that I was not to be trusted around commercial kitchen implements, so they stuck me in the back booth.
Question: have you ever heard, again, this was a dollar menu thing, like, you can still do it, but people don't talk about it anymore because now the math doesn't work out really well. But do you know what a McGangbang is? You ever heard that?
No, and that sounds disgusting.
A McGangbang is, again, when both of these sandwiches were $1. People out here are out there listening right now, like, yes, I fucking know about that. See, this was going on when I was right in college. Ugh. So, about 2007 or so, 2008, around there. You get a McDouble and a McChicken. Both of them were $1. You take the whole McChicken, bun and everything, and put it between the two McDoubles patties and eat that sandwich. That's called a McGangbang. It's not a secret menu item. It's a make-it-yourself thing. And
with a terrible name.
Had that a few times. Oh, man,
also,
it's
that's
wonderful.
too much bread. That is way too much bread.
Well, yeah, there's no such thing. McDonald's, if you don't burn the bread, the toasted buns are fabulous at McDonald's.
My favorite thing was for the fillet of fish, you don't toast the buns, you steam the buns, and they had a bun steamer. And having steamed buns on your McDouble is better than having toasted buns, in my humble opinion. But anyway, but that's just beyond.
Can I get a McGangbang with 4 steamed buns, please? Gross. See, everything went wrong.
You've just got to stop calling it that, because that's not okay.
Look, that's what the internet called it, and that's what we.
Well, the internet was bad back. I mean, it's still bad, but it was especially heinous back then. So, yeah.
But there are people out there listening right now that knew exactly what I was talking about.
I'm sure they did, but shame on them too.
Hey, it's a great fucking sandwich.
All right.
If it didn't cost like $3.74 now, I might go for it, but I'm not doing that. Fuck you, McDonald's. Make it $2. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
I don't even like McDonald's.
I don't either. It's been such a long time since I've been to McDonald's anyway.
I think the last time I went was like I was going to get my first vaccine, and it was what was closest to the gas station that I stopped at.
Oh, so like a week ago.
No, I get my next one this week, so no, it's been like 20 days.
It was 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in April because it was the day after you went back to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was the second.
So
yeah, that's how long it's been. But once again, I had a biscuit, and it was okay.
McDonald's breakfast can fuck, though. Like, we can talk about that.
I used to be the one that they made make a bunch of those stupid breakfast burritos because I was good at rolling them to where they wouldn't fall apart. Yeah. So, like, if I ever had the morning shift, it would just be me making 250 burritos that day.
Burritos?
It was awful burritos.
Burritos. Well, we had a conversation with some of our friends recently about how the breakfast burritos have changed. And it had been so long since I had one. And I had one a few months ago. They've absolutely changed. They are worse. They are way worse than they used to be.
They buy them pre-made now. They used to make a filling.
I didn't know they were pre-made.
Yeah, they used to make a filling, and you had to roll them by hand, which is what I was particularly talented at.
They were fucking good back in the day.
But they buy them like pre-assembled and frozen now.
Yeah.
So
they're fucking
from what I've
now.
heard, like I said, I know a few people that still work at McDonald's, like high-level managers.
My favorite thing at the McDonald's is the sausage McMuffin with egg. So instead of the regular egg McMuffin with the Canadian bacon with the ham on it, I get the sausage patty.
We have been talking about food for way too long.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Are you ready to go into a story?
I'm starting a food podcast. This is what's going to happen. Oh. No, I'm not going to do that.
If we're starting a food podcast, can we talk about like good food instead of...
We should start a Thermomix podcast. We should talk about everything we make with the Thermomix.
I made a lobster bisque today that was absolute fire.
Yeah,
y'all.
we had a meal off of it. It cost about $50. So we had to fucking go buy lobster.
Lobster's so fucking expensive,
So we're
y'all.
not eating out again for a while because we spent $50 on a meal we had to fucking make ourselves.
Look,
it was real good, though.
It was so good. Like, I would probably never make it again because lobster's too expensive, but it's one of those, like, bucket list recipes that I was like, one day I'm going to make this lobster bisque because I love lobster bisque. Mm-hmm. And I was like, one day it's going to be great, and it's just going to be... And anyway, for whatever reason, today was that day, and it was absolutely incredible. But once again, I probably will never make it again because it is way too expensive. But
it's just, if the lobster tails weren't, I imagine it's probably the cheapest lobster tails we could get.
Yeah.
But at the Kroger right by our house, excuse me, they're $6 a piece, and they're 4-ounce tails. That's a really good price.
Yeah.
But you also have to have 4 lobster tails to make the fucking bisque.
Yeah.
So that's $24 right there.
Just in lobster. And then you've got to add, all
we had
of
to buy
your
leeks.
vegetables.
Never bought leeks before.
I bought leeks today. Fine. It turns out I really like leeks, so
leeks.
I'm going to find something else to make with the leeks, so it's not,
I've had
not a
leeks
total
before.
loss. But anyway.
I've had leeks before. They're fan-fucking-tastic.
All right. Well, let's stop doing whatever this is and get into the podcast
fuck your
content.
stories for the rest of the night. Let's talk about this.
No, let's talk about...
sex, baby.
No.
Let's talk about Thermomix.
Hush. So we are going to be talking about a weird little piece of Virginia history that I mean, there's no haunting surrounding it, but I think, in the intro I say the macabre, the creepy, and the strange.
Yeah.
I think this sort of falls into macabre and strange. It's definitely, like I said, there's no ghosties attached to this one. I just think it's fucking weird, and I'm just going to tell you about it. So we're going to be talking about Stonewall Jackson's arms grave.
Oh, I think I know about this.
Yeah.
I think I knew that his arm was buried separately.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the story
That's
of
all I
how
know,
his
though, so.
arm got buried about 100 miles away from his body.
Yeah. Like William Wallace.
What?
They sent his arms and his head as warnings.
No. That was a completely different situation. They drew and quartered him and sent it off as a warning. This was just a weird Confederate clusterfuck that happened, and we're going to talk about it anyway.
I think the entirety of the Confederacy was a clusterfuck.
Most definitely, but like this is a spectacularly clusterfuckery situation that happened, and how he ended up losing the arm in the first place. So we're going to talk about it.
Excellent.
Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, Civil War history is not your thing, Stonewall Jackson was a very famous, popular Confederate general at the time. He was like best buds with Robert E. Lee. Like he was up there major. He was like the rock star Confederate general. Everybody knew who he was, etc. You know, like he was a big deal.
Yes.
To them. So after the Battle of Chancellorsville, which was in, I believe, Chancellorsville, Virginia. But anyway, it was May the 2nd of 1863. Jackson had just really decimated Union forces there at Chancellorsville. So he was returning home victorious to his own encampment. And he had several officers with him. But he wasn't done with the night. He wanted to do a little bit of area recon to see what was going on, how close Union lines had reformed at. You know, he was doing some little sneak general spy kind of situation.
I don't think generals normally did that.
No, generally they don't,
Hey.
which is kind of the problem with how he gets shot. But anyway.
I didn't know he was getting shot.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Anyway, so him and some of his staff members start riding through the woods near the Confederate lines, and he, is just doing recon work, looking at the different troops and all that stuff, just riding through the woods, taking stock of the situation, when all of a sudden some Confederate forces, thinking that they were, invading Union troops, see these people rustling through the forest that hadn't called out and said, "Hey guys, we're on your side." We're like, "Oh shit, people are coming for us," and 3 bullets get shot.
Oh.
At Stonewall Jackson, and 2 of them strike him in the arm.
No.
So those.
So they shot their own general.
Yeah, they shot their general in the arm. So these mini balls ended up shattering some of the bones in his left arm. And I don't know if you know much about Civil War medicine, but it was very bad.
Yeah, I know that the general consensus among doctors was, what hurts? Cut it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you've got a bad toe? We're going to take the foot. Because it's going to gangrene.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's... Yeah. And I'm laughing about it, but that is 100% accurate. Yep. The number of amputations, like battlefield amputations that happened was astronomical. And it was just incredibly common to the point where there were just piles of limbs, you know, at different encampments and outside army hospital tents.
Gross.
Yeah, it was really gross.
I was in a heavy metal band called Piles of Limbs.
Limb pile.
It was actually a tree cutting service that I was a part of, but we also made a heavy metal band.
Indeed. Anyway, so he, has his arm shattered. He's freaking out. His people are freaking out. They think they've been attacked by, not by Union soldiers, I guess. Then anyway, they end up putting it together. They realize they've taken one of the most famous incidents of friendly fire. Not doing so great. Anyway, so he gets shot. His arm is absolutely fucked up. So his troops end up taking him a lot further away from the front lines, and they take him to a place called Wilderness Tavern, which is a few miles west of Fredericksburg, Virginia. And they had an Army field hospital set up there. And the arm clearly needed to be amputated. Yeah. So shot in the dark.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Where was the amputation line? Was it A, amputated below the elbow, B, amputated above the elbow, or C, amputated below the shoulder? So wrist, below, above. Where are
I
we
just
going?
want to say, when you say amputated above the elbow, what I envisioned was they cut it and then they reattached below the elbow to the shoulder. That's what I'm envisioning.
I know you think that's funny, but I actually had a great aunt that had that. Like, she had like a bone cancer, and I was
Yeah, you were terrified of her.
I was terrified of it because she had a T-Rex arm.
Yeah.
And like, as a child, not understanding what had happened before I was born, I was very terrified of the little arm. So,
well, if your parents were like my parents, if anything weird happened, they would not explain it to me. They would say, "Don't say anything about it."
No, I mean, I think it was one of those. No, if I had asked, I think my parents would have told me about it. But I was one of those kids that was like, that's just how it is, and I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
Like, I had that internal don't hurt anybody's feelings anxiety from a very young age. So it was just something that I was like, oh, she's got a weird arm. And I didn't learn what actually happened to her until I was probably in college, which is like
this was long after she died, too.
Long after she died, yeah. So
okay, well, I'm going with that. They cut off his arm above the elbow and reattached below the elbow to the shoulder.
T-Rex arm is not an answer.
Well, that's my answer.
Below the elbow, above the elbow, or below the shoulder.
Above the elbow.
So here?
Yes.
Okay, you're incorrect.
God damn it.
It was amputated just below the shoulder, so the entire thing was taken off.
All of it?
The whole thing.
I really wanted him to have a little arm.
Yeah. So when Robert E. Lee heard about him losing his arm, he's like, well, fuck, because like that was one of his main guys, one of the stars of the Confederacy, and so he decided he needed to make sure that he was as well taken care of as possible.
Forgot we had ginger ale.
You good?
Yep.
Okay. I'm just making sure you aren't gonna like regurgitate the Uncle Nearest. All right.
Oh, I'll hurl on camera.
Don't regurgitate the uncle. All right. So
Yeah, swallow the uncle.
gross.
Good point, Leah.
Sorry. Anyway, so Robert E. Lee ends up doing everything that he can to make sure that that guy gets taken care of. So he selects a location for him to be sent to convalesce. It's a place called Guinea Station, which is another 26 miles further away from the battlefields. And so he gets set up there because it's close to a train station, and they're hoping that he will get better and be able to get to Richmond from that train station to go back home where he's from. Okay. But unfortunately, after they had amputated the arm, the doctors realized that he had a really severe case of pneumonia as well. And it's pretty likely that he actually already had the pneumonia before he even got shot in the arm. So
they amputated his lungs.
No. Unfortunately, they couldn't do that.
Unfortunately. Leah.
I'm sorry.
That's our heritage.
Yeah, well, whatever. Anyway, so they took his arm, but to be fair, he probably would have died without being shot by his own people anyway. So, you know, they just like...
They found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was going to happen one way or the other, but this way he's got a fun arm amputation story.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he had pneumonia really bad and ended up dying. His wife, Mary Anna, came in from Richmond to be by his side as he died. So he died on May the 10th of 1863, sans arm. But back at the military hospital, they were, they had chopped his arm off because he had to. Excuse me. They had chopped his arm off, and the surgeons were like, it's just another arm. I'm going to put that on the arm pile, and we're just going to dispose of all the arms at once,
on
right?
their pile of limbs.
Because there was a pile of limbs.
Yeah.
So I
bet it smelled so bad.
Oh, yeah. It was rank, and there was tons of rampant disease. It was a problem. But they just tossed his arm on the arm pile and went back to cutting off other people's limbs because that was their job. But the company chaplain of Jackson's personal company troupe. He was a reverend named Tucker Lacey. He was like a Stonewall Jackson fanboy. Like, he was seriously into it. And he was just like, man, we can't let this limb go to waste. We can't
What, are they going to eat it? What do you mean let it go to waste?
No, nothing like that. I'm saying we can't let it be disposed of with the commoners.
Waste good general meat.
With the gross.
That's the tenderest.
Ugh. I think it was more of a
dark general meat.
Can you hush? There was like a reverence there that he wanted to sort of not allow the general's arm to be disposed of with the plebeian limbs.
Yeah.
So he took it
I agree.
off of the amputation pile and he wrapped it up and he decided to give the arm a good Christian burial. So he took it to...
He gave the arm its last rites?
He did. So he wrapped the arm in blankets and he took it to his brother's nearby plantation called Elwood Manor. And he said, hey, bro, can I bury this arm in your family cemetery?
Got a real fertile arm here.
And the brother was like, I mean, yeah, I guess, whatever. And so they did. They gave him his arm a good Christian burial. Yeah. And they put a marker above the site that just said, arm, I guess. I don't know.
It just said arm. Yeah. Thank God
that marker no longer exists, but there has been one placed since. Anyway, so
I'm just imagining a giant stone, a regular old headstone that just says ARM across it, like with the years that it was alive as well.
And the Reverend said that he had initially intended for, after he died, to let his widow know, hey, if you want his whole body buried in Richmond, we can disinter this arm and reunite it with the general so he can be buried whole. But the wife was like, look, dude, it was a good Christian burial. The arm is fine. Like, you just leave it there.
That arm is waiting for him with Jesus. Yeah. Jesus is holding the hand right now.
Yeah.
And it's just waiting for everything else to come up there.
Yeah. When we're all resurrected, the arm will like do the cousin it crawl. And it'll be fine. Yeah. It's just a few hundred miles. We'll get to Richmond. It'll be fine.
Every time we talk about this, I just remember when your mom passed away and we were sitting in the funeral home discussing the casket, and your dad and you and your brother all said, she doesn't want anything fancy. She wouldn't want anything fancy. And your grandmother was like, y'all better bury me in the biggest thing they've got.
Yeah.
And
my grandmother was very disappointed in our choice of coffin.
She was so upset. And I was like, what's the point of that? And Leah explained, which of course I knew about the rapture and the resurrection and all that stuff, but Leah explained that she honestly believes that Jesus is going to come back and bring her back. And I said, with what body? With the body she has when she dies? Yeah. Is that what she thinks? You want to live with that fucked up body the rest of eternity?
Yeah, I mean, and it was, and especially back then, the theology was, if you weren't, like, that's why a lot of Christians aren't into, like, modern day Christians. Well, I mean, Catholics generally don't have a problem with it, but like evangelical Christians are really opposed to, or some of them are opposed to cremation because they believe that like your body is physically going to be resurrected
and
not
gross,
a spiritual resurrection. And so you have to be buried intact. And that was another part of the whole him burying it to preserve it kind of situation.
Right.
But, whatever.
But again, when it's resurrected, that arm's just going to claw its way out by itself. That's fucked up.
I mean, but she also was like something about because I don't know if you know it, this is going to be a separate thing entirely, but
here we go.
When you purchase a coffin, you can purchase it with a seal or without a seal.
Right.
So the seal is absolutely terrible. It does absolutely nothing. It's not going to be helpful. The only thing it will do, and a lot of the times cemeteries will actually like intentionally make sure that the seal is busted, because if you aren't allowing gases to escape, because decomposition is disgusting and a lot of gases and stuff happen, and it can pop the casket open and it can cause deformations in the ground above it. So like they're going to try to make sure that you can decompose, and so water needs to get in and all of that stuff.
Because they sell you your spiritual stuff, and then they do things that are happening in the physical world to make sure that they can maintain burying people where they bury them. And
so like a gasketed coffin was an extra like $50, and I was like, guys, that's stupid. We don't need that. Why would you do that?
Yeah. That's how they get you.
Yeah.
It's like going in a hotel and using the phone. That's how they get you.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. There's no need for it. And my grandmother had like a meltdown. Like, I don't want anything to get in and touch me. I don't want the water to. And I'm just sitting here going, he's going to do it regardless of what. Like,
how long is that seal going to last?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a whole, like, so if you're ever going through like funeral planning processes and stuff like that, like.
As we've talked about a few times
more
on the
power
show,
to you, man.
The whole funeral enterprise in this country, especially, but worldwide, is kind of fucked up. It's completely profit driven because they make so much money.
I mean, and like I said, and that's not every funeral home, and that's not like any specific funeral practitioners. Like I know several morticians, and I'm totally down with it. I get it. But like it is a little predatory, and it's playing on old people fears. So anyway, I mean,
it's just so easy to manipulate spiritual people in that way, though,
and not just spiritual people, but people that have just lost a loved one. Grief can do bizarre shit.
Well, that's what I mean. Is the spiritual people, and especially when someone originally dies, like the thing that bothered me so much. I know that we're not even fucking talking about the story anymore. I'm sorry, but everyone who listens to this show knows that I'm not a religious person anyway. But when your mother died and then at her service, the preacher used it for 40 minutes to try to recruit more people. Like the whole speech wasn't about your mother. It was about how people need to be following God because when you die, you have to have something to
be fair, that's what she would have wanted it to be.
I understand
because
that.
she was also very much into that. So like
it bothered me though.
Yeah, it bothered you because you're an atheistic heathen. But like I said, that didn't bother me because it
was a recruitment tool. People die, and you use the grief to recruit people.
Yeah, but once again,
bothers me.
That is 100% what she would have wanted it to be, and like that didn't bother me because once again, that would have been 100% in line with her values and her beliefs, which is fine. You know, I even picked out one of her favorite Christian song quotes to put on her tombstone. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's not what I would have had for myself, but I mean, I wouldn't have been buried like that. But, you know, it's about honoring that person, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But, yeah, I mean, I get your point. But
my favorite Christian
can we talk about
song
the arm?
lyric is, I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. And just have it out there. Don't attribute it to anybody. We don't need to know what it means. Go ahead.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to think of a more obscure lyric from that song. Completely blanked. Completely blanked.
What the fuck?
It was real stupid. Let's move on.
All right. Okay.
Leah, not every one of them's going to be a home run.
You didn't even bunt that one.
Sometimes you swing and miss. Leah, you can't be scared to get up to the plate. I played baseball for way too long.
Honey, I don't think you got out of the dugout on that one.
Yeah. The coach saw me with a bat and went, first of all, your helmet's on backwards. Sit the fuck down. You're drunk. Sit down.
Are you wearing Crocs? What the fuck, man?
You can't hit a baseball in Crocs. They may be antibacterial, but they aren't going to help you squish the bug.
Oh, anyway, so back to the fucking arm that we're supposed to be talking about.
Hit me with it.
That's a great question. Where did I get to? I got totally fucking disrailed by that conversation.
The arm and
so the preacher gets the arm, buries the arm. After he dies, he says to the widow, "Hey, you want his arm back?" And she's like, "Nah, man, we're good." And so it stays buried at Elwood Manor. And then, so, you know, time passes and the battle lines shift. And on May the 5th of 1864, during the Battle of the Wilderness, which is what it's called, Elwood actually served as the headquarters for a Union grouping of generals and stuff. So the Union Major General Governor K. Warren. I don't know. Governor's spelled weird. But anyway,
Does it have
Mr.
a U
Warren.
in it?
Yeah,
Have
it
a U
does.
at the end?
No, it's in the like it's spelled, it's fucked up. Anyway,
Sounds like a typo.
no, it's spelled that way in other things because I thought it was a typo too. But anyway, that guy shows up. He's there, and he realizes, oh, this is where that thing with the arm happened. I wonder if that's true. Did they really bury his arm somewhere else? And anyway, there are a couple of different actual extant letters from the time period from the Union soldiers that were talking about. They were just curious and wanted to know if it was actually down there. So they had him like dig it up, and like sure the fuck enough, they found his arm just like hanging out, and they're like, oh, that's fucking weird. So they just sort of like reburied it, and we're like,
So they dug it up just to see if it was there.
they dug it up just to see if it was true. And it was. And so they're like,
Did they
oh,
embalm
cool.
the arm?
No, they just reburied it.
No, I mean the first time.
Oh, no, I don't think so. But anyway, they reburied it. And eventually, there was a person in the early 1900s, 1903. There was a dude named Lieutenant James Power Smith. And he ended up, he was previously a lieutenant in the Confederate Army, and he had come into some money, and he was like, I want to put up some monuments that sort of honor the different locations of places where, my Confederate friends died or did something special. So he commissioned 10 granite monuments to sort of be placed as historical markers on different locations in the area about, the Confederacy. So not like the big... Not the Confederate monuments that were placed way later that are being controversially taken down,
quote unquote,
or just toppled over in riots. Not that kind of one, but like small granite. This is what happened here, kind of situations. And one of those was placed at the Elwood Manor Cemetery, saying, "Hey, guess what's buried here? It's an arm." Hey.
Arm.
Yeah.
Just ARM.
Yeah. Arm. So there's another story about this that is very questionable, but people will repeat it when you talk about this particular story. So I'll tell it to you, but most people don't believe it actually happened.
Okay.
So the story is that in 1921, the U.S. Marine Corps was conducting sort of training stuff on farms nearby the Elwood plantation area. And there was a commander there named General Smedley Butler, which is one of my favorite names.
That rolls off the fucking
Smedley
tongue.
Butler. Anyway, he is actually a pretty famous a general, just historically speaking, but Smedley,
really?
It's a fun name.
I feel like I would have heard that name by now.
I have.
Awesome.
But anyway, so Smedley Butler is enchanted by the idea that this dude's arm is just like hanging out somewhere. So he's like, I don't know if it's true or not, but we're going to see if it is. So he just orders some Marines to like start digging up in that area. And sure enough, they fucking find the arm. They find the arm.
So for the second time, they were like, "Did this shit happen?
For the second time,
Is this real? Is this real?"
Happen? And
they
so
found an arm.
Yeah, the story is that they eventually found the arm, and he put it in a metal box, and he reburied it near this marker that had been placed up there, and they put a plaque on it on the top of the stone, saying that it was his arm there. So once again, that is not a confirmed story at all.
Okay.
And most military historians think that that's absolute bullshit. It's just some kind of like story that got attached to it somehow. Most people don't think that happened at all. But
okay.
Anyway, the stone that was placed there in the 1903 is still there, and you can still see it. And the Elwood Manor property is like a state park as well. So it's in the Fredericksburg. There's like a
It's in the state park.
It's in it's one of the, I think it's the Fredericksburg's Battlefield State Park. Like there's a few things together that all belongs to the state park. But anyway, you can go see it still. A lot of people do. It's just one of those quirky little roadside what the fucks that people like to go see. And you know, a lot of Civil War buffs are really into like that kind of thing. So
like the big chair.
Yeah. So they definitely go see it quite a bit. So
Well,
if you want to see it, it's there.
You said the monument was placed in 1903.
Yeah.
Is it the same one? Is it
Yeah.
real weathered down by now?
No, it's granite.
Really?
It's just about like you would expect like a gravestone from that time period to be. It's not bad.
So you can still make out everything that's on there.
Yeah, and you can see pictures of it online. And all of that information came from two sources, Atlas Obscura, which you can find pictures of that there, and the nationalparkstraveler.org. And they have a nice little write-up about the entire park and the history of, you know, the different battles that took place around it, not just the general... he got shot by his own men fuckery. So, yeah, no, if you're into Civil War history, that's an interesting website to check out about that particular park. So, yeah.
Y'all go do that. Tell me how it goes.
It's up to you.
No. You have an assignment. You have a homework assignment. Go check it out. Tell me how it goes. And I won't read any of the comments.
Excellent.
I don't care.
Everybody gets 100 on this assignment.
Everybody. It's like how I'm going through school right now. I'm going to online school, which I'm working very hard. I am. I'm putting out a lot of effort. But every major assignment I'm submitting, I'm getting 100 on. And it's been that way for a couple of years now since I've been going. I haven't been going for a couple of years, but close. I'm almost done with school. I am working very hard on them, but every single one comes back and it's like 100.
Maybe you're just that good.
No, I think that all the teachers throughout the pandemic have been like, who gives a shit? Pass them.
I'm fine with that. That just means we don't have to pay for you to take extra.
Colors. But like, I have professors that send out emails to the classes that are like, okay, a lot of you aren't watching these videos and it's showing in the grades. And I'm like, who the fuck isn't watching these lecture videos that are like 5 minutes long and are therefore like, I am trying in these classes, don't get me wrong, but this is not hard material, at least in my view, that I'm going through. And I have like a 98 in the class and I'm like, how are people not passing this class?
To be fair, though, you're also an adult going through this, and some of the people
That's
that are
fair.
going through are still in their very early 20s.
That's fair, because I did that.
Dumb as shit, and they did what you did the first time.
That's fair.
Etc.
But it's also not a party school that I'm attending as well. So
No, it's not. It's like a...
Like, I went to a school that isn't necessarily a party school, but has a big Greek life contingent.
Yeah.
And that's all you fucking do is party and drink all the time. So that's what I did. And I'm now 33 going to college.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll graduate at 34 if I don't fail anything.
Which you probably won't, because the professors don't give a fuck.
Getting hundreds on everything else.
Woo!
So, like, you know, if the professors, what I'm saying is if the professors grade something, I get 100 on it. If it's like an automated test, I might miss a couple of things here and there. But if the professor grades it, it's like, fuck it, you did it, 100. That's what's happening. So,
It works.
hashtag pandemic learning.
Yeah, I like it, as long as it works.
So anyway, if y'all go to the websites, just tell me you did it. I don't have statistics to tell me if you didn't do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. All right.
you get 100.
Are you ready for the second story of the evening?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to one of my favorite places on the face of planet Earth. Williamsburg, Virginia. Yay!
You do love Williamsburg. You talk about Williamsburg all the time.
I fucking love Williamsburg, guys. Yeah. I've only been twice, but man, what an experience. I don't know. I just love museums, and that is just a whole city of just the whole thing's a museum, and it makes me happy.
I've never been.
Well, I mean,
Did you start crying?
No, it was an act hole. So.
Oh, yes. Yes. Acting. Yeah.
The great Smedley Butler.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't like that.
Sorry.
That part wasn't good.
Yeah, no, I love Williamsburg because I'm a fucking nerd. So this is the story of one of the oldest and most haunted houses in colonial Williamsburg.
Yay.
And so a lot of the hauntings, I'm just going to tell you a little bit of history about it and then just tell you some of the hauntings, because it's not like a big overarching, like, good ghost story. It's just, I really like this house. The house is spooky as shit. I'm going to tell you about it and what happened in it.
That's exciting.
So it is called the Peyton Randolph House, and it is one of the oldest and most original houses there in Colonial Williamsburg, because a lot of what you see there today is the original structures, but a lot of the buildings' interiors are no longer original. They have restored them to what they would have looked like originally, but in the 70s, 60s and 70s, a lot of these houses and stuff were being used as boarding houses and apartment complexes and that kind of stuff. So before conservation really started happening, they'd been wallpapered over and all sorts of crazy shit. So what you see now is the result of years and years and years of restorative conservation. But this particular house actually does still have some of the original features, some of the original floors, some of the original paneling. So it's pretty unique when it comes to, historical preservation of that time period's actual decor. So anyway, I think it's neat because I'm a fucking nerd, as previously stated.
Yeah.
But the house was initially built by a man named William Robertson in 1715, but it was purchased a few years later in 1721 by Sir John Randolph. Now, Sir John Randolph, it's very hard to say.
No, it's not.
Well, when you have a stuttering problem, it is.
Yes.
But anyway, Sir John Randolph was actually the only colonial Virginian person to be knighted by the English crown, which is weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yep. So he was very wealthy, very well respected. He had a fancy house and was very rich, etc. So he actually had 3 sons, and his middle son, Peyton, is the guy that ends up inheriting that house. So Sir John Randolph ends up dying in 1737, and after he ends up dying, he leaves the house. So his eldest son gets a big property out in the country. His middle son gets that house in the town, and his third son gets another house that they own sort of on the other edge of the city. But Peyton was 24 years old when he inherited this house, and he ends up building onto it. So the entire house today is sort of set up in an L shape. So he ends up building Sir John, the dad, ended up building up kind of a second wing of the house, but they weren't connected. When Peyton gets the house, he's like, man, it would be great if all of this house was connected to each other. So he builds the middle section that is there now. And so it's just this big ass house, but the east wing is not connected interiorly to anything else, which is a little odd because it was sort of like ye old mother-in-law suite. So his mom was still alive when he took over this thing, and he didn't want to kick his mom out of her home. Yeah. So he just built onto it, and she had her own private residence, but it was part of the house, but you had to enter it from outside so she could maintain her own household and all of that stuff. So it was basically like ye old mother-in-law apartment, Can
I tell you that I didn't know that mother-in-law suites or wings of houses were a thing until we started looking at houses to buy? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that was a thing, but it's a fucking huge thing, especially down here in the South. It's a very big thing.
A lot of the times people with finished basements will make a whole apartment down there.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a place that I lived for a little while, very short amount of time, where the entire bottom floor was just it had its own laundry room, bathroom, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
One of my friends growing up had her dad was a contractor, and his favorite thing to do was just build them big fancy houses and then sell them after they had lived in them a few years.
Yeah. After they got what they wanted out of it.
After they had completely done everything, he just enjoyed building lavish, ridiculous houses. That was his hobby, and he made a lot of money doing it. So, he had other jobs, but like he that was his hobby, was
Yeah.
building stupid large houses. So they had a big house, but like the entire basement, it was built into the side of a hill, and the entire basement was a house that
Yeah.
was about the size of the house that I lived in. You know what I mean? Like it was the entire bottom floor was like a whole like 3-bedroom house, complete with living room and kitchen, like full kitchen stove, the whole thing in the basement. And I was like, this is ridiculous. But like anytime a tornado happened, like they would all just like go down and sleep in the downstairs house.
Go have
like
fun in the other fucking house that's in the house that you're in. Yeah.
it's like, you don't need a storm shelter because we have a house in the hill under our house.
That's another thing. When I moved up north, there are a lot more like basement type things up here because when I was in Montgomery, which is south central Alabama,
There's almost no basement.
there's no basements. You can find like one or two. Like I knew one or two people that had a basement because
it's
the
still
ground
not-
shifts
yeah.
so much down there.
Yeah,
So,
it's still not common up here just because
Yeah.
the water table's so high. But because they were living on a hill, they could build into the hill. But
so all y'all out
Anyway.
there in Alabama, it's pretty rare to find like a basement.
yeah, it is.
You know, it's just a weird thing, especially when you talk to people like in the Midwest.
Yeah, because that's a big thing out there.
Yeah, and like all the ground's all settled and shit, and all you have to worry about is falling down into a cave, because that's a giant thing, y'all. If you haven't, I can't stop, taking us off track here, but the fucking underground cave system in America is fascinating if you don't know about it.
And terrifying. if you
Absolutely
ask
terrifying
me.
because people just disappear.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are like, what the fuck happened? And there's just a sinkhole and there's a fucking cave.
Yeah.
Because the cave system there's a cave system under the entirety of the country.
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating
Like,
if you've never heard about it.
no joke. Like,
Because it's pretty new to me is why I'm saying that.
sinkholes are like one of my biggest fears. And
Yeah.
I know that's absurd, but like
we
it's
fucking
not.
have one in the backyard.
Yeah,
like we have a hole back here that we don't know where it goes. But Leah's foot went in it one time.
I did. No, it wasn't my foot. It was up to my hip
It
leg.
was a whole leg. Yeah.
It was my entire leg went in that fucking hole. Anyway.
That was a fun day.
Yeah, no, I'm terrified of sinkholes. I really am. Like, scared of sinkholes.
Yeah.
It's a thing down here. It happens. I don't like it. I'm scared of sinkholes. But anyway, ye old mother-in-law suite. Anyway,
Back to that ye old mother-in-law cave system.
No. But anyway, yeah. So the reason Peyton Randolph and his house is famous and still revered. Oh, by the way, before I even get into that,
Going back.
this house is ugly as shit.
What house? The house we're talking about?
Yeah, the Peyton Randolph house.
Excuse me.
Because and they did a lot of historical restoration, and they went down and stripped the paint and figured out what colors it was painted originally and all that stuff. Anyway, it is a Georgian style house, so it's really like rectangular. You know what I mean? It's kind of flat and boring, but it's got this sort of clapboard paneling on the side of it, and it's red. It is like that color. Like the darker color on our screen is that red color. The entire thing. The shutters, red. The wall, red. The door, red. The whole thing is fucking red.
Yeah.
Like, and not
our
a good
kitchen?
red.
Like our kitchen was when we bought this
No,
house?
like that was a much more attractive red color than this one is. Like,
I doubt it.
Google,
Full on fucking crimson.
you've got a computer with you just
I've
for
got a
your own
computer.
edification. Google the Peyton Randolph house. It's ugly as sin.
Is it P-A-Y or P-E-Y?
P-E-Y. It's just an ugly house. So we're talking about this dull, rusty, ugly red house. Just bear that in mind. It's just, I hate it. Anyway.
You're right. It does look just super boring.
Yeah, it's a big square red house.
very
And then
square.
it's got another house that goes off that house. So it's kind of an L shape if you look at it from above. But like
I wish we could show our viewers.
the main portion of that house is very just bland
we have
and
no
red.
production quality.
Sorry. But anyway, so Peyton Randolph is famous and important because a lot of people consider him to be the first president of the United States because he actually served as the president of the First and Second Continental Congress when they were starting, to
How have
do
I
all
not
of
heard
the...
that? How have I not heard
Because
that?
you didn't fucking pay attention in
I don't think I've
school.
ever heard the name Peyton Randolph, period.
You have.
No.
Yeah.
I just want to say that the one interior photo I'm seeing, I think they have the same paint color that we have in our house
Yeah,
on the
it's
interior.
really close.
Yeah. What was the name of that?
Stardew.
Stardew. Sherwin-Williams, everybody. God damn it. I just gave it away. I was going to say I have a friend that works there, gave us a deal. But then a couple weeks ago, people are going to piece this shit together. They're going to know what Gordon does.
Sweetie, no one cares.
God damn it. I just got him fired, I'm sure.
No.
Gordon's doing fine.
Anyway, so where was I? The president of the United States
They think he was
Continental
the president.
Congress. Yeah. So he was the president of the First and the Second Continental Congress. And so he played a really major role leading up to the revolution in sort of forming the initial, everything, the foundational everything of the country. So, he's a founding father that a lot of people don't remember.
I swear I've never heard this name.
Mm-hmm.
So,
He actually was presiding over all of the meetings, just all of them. Like he was there and everything. Also, Thomas Jefferson's his first cousin.
that's
Weirdly,
fucked up.
yeah. So
There's a lot of incest at the beginning of this country.
I mean, it's just a lot of rich people that were related to each other that were, doing all of that shit.
I think that they were fucking. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm not going to say they're not, but whatever. But yeah, the reason that a lot of people don't remember him and don't really consider him a founding father is because he didn't make it to 1776.
Yeah.
So shot in the dark.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Peyton Randolph died of a stroke in 1775 in Philadelphia during a dinner that he was having with Thomas Jefferson. Just a year shy of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which kind of sucks for him.
Kind of.
But something odd happened to his body after he died.
Ugh.
What was it?
It was fucked by Benjamin Franklin.
It was not.
One last
Although he
hurrah.
was a freaky dude, but
One
not that.
last hurrah for old cuz.
No. Okay. Was it A, buried face down, B, weekend at Bernied, or C, buried twice?
Without a doubt, weekend at Bernied, because they definitely dragged him around other dinner parties. That's what I'm saying.
No.
God damn it! I want that to have happened so bad. That just Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson were on each side, just
Give him one last hurrah.
dragging him around, talking for him, just bumping his head up and down and shit. Hey, I really don't think I ever saw the first Weekend at Bernie's. But around the time that my family got cable, because I grew up kind of rural in my early childhood, we first got cable and HBO and all that. Weekend at Bernie's 2 was on constantly. And that's the one that I know where he got some kind of voodoo hex on his dead body. Did you ever see this? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's god awful.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets some kind of voodoo thing so that whenever he hears music, he stands up and does this little head bob thing. And then he walks, and they find out that he's walking to a treasure in the ocean. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I watched that movie so many times as a child. It is ingrained in my memory. Jonathan Silverman, Sarah Silverman's brother, who was a big deal for a while and just kind of faded off. I think Weekend at Bernie's 2 kind of did him in.
What are you going to do?
I can't wait for this second shot. Ugh.
Yeah, so they did not Weekend at Bernie's him.
Damn.
Sorry.
I want to watch that so bad. Leah, can we watch Weekend at Bernie's too?
Sure.
I think I can find it on an illegal site.
Anyway, he was actually buried twice. So he was buried in Philadelphia. So
did they bury half his body? Is that what you're saying?
No,
they hot dogged him?
They didn't hot dog him. They didn't hamburger him. They didn't splay him to the four corners. They just buried his entire body in Philadelphia after he died. So he died in Philadelphia on October the 22nd of 1775. And he had a giant funeral in Philadelphia. And it was apparently the biggest funeral that the city had ever had. It was a big ass funeral. And he was buried in a vault at Christ Church there in Philadelphia until November of 1776, at which point they exhumed his body. And from some of the different sources say that he was just dug up and taken somewhere, but some of the like oral folklore of it, which I said I can't verify this. I've tried, but what I've read is that they pickled him and put him in like a wine barrel, and they shipped him to Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia. They shipped him to Williamsburg that way. I can't verify that part, but I like to think that it happened just because like chucking this dude in a barrel makes me laugh. But anyway, so they he didn't have any kids, so his nephew, so like his brother was a Tory and was a loyalist, and it was a big heartache between that family, and his brother moved back to England when the revolution happened to keep him from getting killed, and his son Edmund was on the side of the revolution, and they hung out and was really good friends anyway. So Edmund basically became sort of the heir to Peyton Randolph, so anyway, his nephew takes him back, and he gets buried, and he's actually one of the very few people that are buried at the chapel at William and Mary, the college, and so he's buried in the crypt. This is really hard, man. In the crypt of the Wren Chapel at the College of William and Mary, and he's actually buried next to his father, who was buried there first, and then after his brother died in England, his body was shipped over to be buried next to them as well. So they're all three in that crypt there in Williamsburg. But anyway, it's a beautiful little chapel. If you've never been to Williamsburg, I highly recommend it.
I'll take your word for it.
Yep. And actually the books that Peyton got from his dad, so he got the family library when his dad died. After Peyton died, he left all of his books to Thomas Jefferson, and Thomas Jefferson's library, which was a lot of just that family's collection, that actually first started the Library of Congress. So that's where the first collection in the Library of Congress came from, which I think is really fun.
That is cute.
Yep.
I enjoyed that. I'm telling you, they were lovers. Thomas Jefferson was a fucking
They were cousins, but all right.
He was a freak, though.
Okay, fine.
You know all the shit he was into?
Whatever you want to think.
He was a Renaissance man.
Sure, he was also a giant asshole, but anyway.
I mean, they all were at the time.
They all were.
In 2021 glasses, every one of those men was a fucking asshole.
Correct.
But at the time, they were getting shit done. They were freaky.
I still think they were assholes, but anyway.
I agree, but he was into some weird shit, is all I'm saying.
Yes. So was Ben Franklin. Man, that dude was into some stuff.
Like, think about their Pornhub search histories. Just think about that. Like, no. They're not that type. They're the type that are the old men who are just Googling weird shit. So, like, think of their Google history. And then we have to go over and fix their phones. Right? This is a personal anecdote, by the way.
It's not.
It's not. Nobody was looking at porn.
No one was looking at porn, but my one of my grandparents actually did accidentally get like a malware on their phone, and it kept like bringing up explicit photos, like
they weren't
the
nude,
ads.
but
They weren't nude,
bad.
but like the
fucking Hartselle tonight.
Yeah, like those kind of things, and she was just like overwhelmed and just like, I can't touch my phone anymore. It's got naughty stuff on it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Mom.
Yeah, you need to wear gloves for the phone.
Anyway, we fixed it. It was fun. But yeah, don't let your grandparents have smartphones, guys.
I agree. If you are over 75, you have no need of a smartphone right now. Period. And we told them 2 years ago when they got those things. I mean, go for it, but like, you don't need it. No. Just saying.
But they love it, so it's fun.
Yeah. I don't know that they love it.
Anyway.
I think they're, like you said, overwhelmed.
Occasionally,
with like everything that's happening.
And every time I go over there, I instinctively pick up their phones and I close all 200 tabs that they've opened and not closed on their internet browser.
Yeah, every time.
Like every application that they have clicked open in the last month,
Chrome
is still open,
loaded, y'all.
Like they never restart their phones. Like it's absurd.
Yeah.
And I'm bad about like keeping my cell phone like, cleared and all of that stuff, but like
your email. Jesus Christ, your email.
Shut up! Don't talk about my email.
Everything in my email and text messages, I make sure is at least marked red, if not deleted.
Nope.
Because I I just can't stand. I'm one of those people. Like, I have a little bit of obsessive compulsive with certain things like that, where I have to make sure it's done, and I don't even read it most of the time. I just mark it read. Just fuck off. Just go away. No more notifications.
I have a legitimate OCD diagnosis, but that's not part of my problem. So
I mean, I'm not diagnosed, but I'm that kind of, that bothers me a lot. Continue with the story.
Yeah, I'm never going to get through this shit.
Anyway, Thomas Jefferson's search history would have been fucked up.
Anyway, so that was fun. But anyway, let's talk about some of the hauntings, because the hauntings actually have been reported way further back than you think that they have. So one of the earliest...
Way further back than I think.
Yeah, anybody thinks.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So one of the... I don't know. I just think it's fun.
It's pretty great.
It is.
It's pretty great.
But one of the earliest records of someone claiming this building to be haunted is the Marquis de Lafayette. So he stayed there well after the Revolution. In the 1820s, he was visiting the people that owned the house at the time, the Peachy family.
Peachy?
Peachy. But anyway, he wrote this after after the Revolution. He was going through. Anyway, he stays at this house, and this is what he writes about it.
Here we go.
Quote, I considered myself fortunate to lodge in the home of a great man, Peyton Randolph. Upon my arrival, as I entered through the foyer, I felt a hand on my shoulder. It nudged me as if intending to keep me from entering. I quickly turned, but found no one there. The nights were not restful, as the sounds of voices kept me awake for most of my stay. So he's reporting some haunted, ghostly bullshit, even that late, early. I don't know. Back then, So anyway, lots of other crazy bullshit have happened in this house over the years. It served as a lodging house in the 60s. And apparently people that stayed there is it kind of B&B style. People that stayed there would kind of rush out in the middle of the night being like, guys, something's been shaking me awake. It's freaky. Nope. Seeing ghosts. Bye, bitches. I'm out of here. No, thank you.
Okay.
Lots of people just leaving in the middle of the night for no good reason. Some of the ghosts that they say actually haunt the place. Apparently, there's a ghost of two of the Peachy children died while they were living in the house. So one of the boys was climbing a tree in the 1810s or so, and a branch broke, and he fell, and he broke his neck, and he died. So he's said to haunt the property. A young girl... I think it was also a member of that family, but it could have been someone else. But anyway, a young girl that was living on the second floor was fucking around and fell out the window and died.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was used as a boarding house for students that were attending the College of William and Mary occasionally. And one of the people that was a student there, got some kind of mysterious wasting disease and died in that house.
What's a wasting disease?
Something like tuberculosis, most likely.
So where your organs are wasting away?
Yeah, so when you're when it looks like you're physically being drained of your life, it's a wasting disease.
I just never heard that term before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I have. I've had 2 shots of Uncle Nearest. I'm a little fucked up.
A little bit.
I have probably heard of wasting disease before.
So, and also,
Just saying.
The original Sir John, he died in that house as well. And then also there was in the...
you got this.
In the late 1700s, there was a duel there, and one dude got shot and killed there as well.
My name is Alexander Hamilton.
Not that one.
Wrong duel. My name is Alexander Hamilton.
Wrong duel. Anyway, so, but more recent sort of ghostly activity, you could even find this story being told by the person on YouTube, but this person used to work at Colonial Williamsburg as a security guard, and anyway, ended up having to go into the basement to patrol something. Anyway, ends up getting locked in there, shouldn't have been able to lock this particular door at all, but completely locked in there. Their flashlight goes out. sort of uncomfortable. And as they're trying to get the door open, apparently they heard like this like growl, this like sort of
Sorry, I had chili.
sort of like this awful growl. And he felt something grabbing at his legs and was trying to kind of glue him to the spot. And
Sorry, I had chili.
Stop. And he was really freaked out, and sort of the shutters on the windows slam shut. The flashlight stops working. He freaks out and just radios for backup, like, guys, come on.
Sorry.
Whatever the fuck is going on, this is not okay.
I had chili.
And anyway, someone had to come in and like actually like they had to pry the cellar doors open to like get him out of that place, which sounds awful. Apparently they did not stay at that job for much longer. Apparently you can generally hear a lot of knocking and footsteps in the house. Furniture moves on its own. You can hear the sounds of children like running down the hallways and laughing and playing.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, hate it. Don't like it. But apparently there is supposed to be a really malevolent spirit in the second floor. It's supposedly something that everybody kind of gets squicked out when they sort of encounter it. And like it's known to like try to push people down the stairs, which is bad. I don't like that. And there's apparently a woman that you can hear sort of an apparition singing in the backyard, which apparently is a really creepy thing if you can't find whoever's, singing. Yeah. I don't like that either.
Don't worry, Steve's here.
Like I said, there's been a lot of other like motion sensors get tripped and there's no one in the household. Just all sorts of weird, creepy bullshit that's happened in this house. A lot of people, like I said, and so if you go to Williamsburg, there will be ghost tours everywhere. God damn it, the cat knocked over my computer.
Y'all, you're not on YouTube. This is on you. The cat just knocked over Leah's computer.
What an
The episode is a
asshole.
loss. It's a wash. We have to start over. Leah, back to the first one.
That fucking cat, man.
Let's talk about the arm again.
No. Anyway, so if you go to Williamsburg, they have lots of ghost tours that are available. And if you go on a ghost tour, you're going to pass by this house and they're going to talk to you about all the crazy bullshit that's happened in it.
I can't believe he knocked the computer over.
He's an asshole. But apparently people are really well known on tours that like just different tour companies, different days. People have been known to faint in front of this house for no good reason, or pass by the front of this house and start throwing up. Or like if they usually dress up to tell the stories. They're in, colonial garb and they're carrying lanterns because they're usually like at night strolls. I've been on a couple. But like the lantern glass occasionally will crack in front of this house. Like something malevolent, spooky, bullshit, weird is going on at that house.
That's
and
exciting.
It's just like,
Let's go to Williamsburg and do this tour.
I will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for it? Patrons, we need your assistance.
If you want me to cover everything in Williamsburg on video, I will do it for you. But you have to pay for it.
Look, we've talked about... I'm going to do this real quick. So we're going to Mexico, the same resort that we went to for our honeymoon. Mm-hmm. We're going this year for our 5-year anniversary. And we have 2 really nice handheld cameras. And Leah's been watching so many, like, people that just are travel bloggers. Like, that's all they do. And they travel around. And Leah's like, we could do that. We could be fat travel bloggers. So we're going to take both of our cameras and try to record shit. And now... I'm thinking, like, why don't we set up the Patreon and, like, patrons send us to Williamsburg? We'll blog the whole fucking thing.
I would love to go to Williamsburg again. I'm down for that, but, like, I don't want anybody else to have to pay for my travel bullshit.
No. Nobody's paying. They're contributing.
Contributing. Yeah, I just love colonial. I would want to wait until some of the, because a lot of things aren't open right now because they won't let people inside of the particular buildings.
Yeah, the resort we're going to is at like 50% capacity and might be up there by the time we get there.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But yeah, so I would love to do that. And there's so many stories and oh my God, just, I love that place. It's weird, but I love that place. Anyway, so if anyone is interested.
I've never been to Virginia. Like
Ever?
No, the closest I've been is when we went to DC a couple years ago and we landed in Baltimore.
That
in
was
Maryland. Yeah. Well, yeah. I know. I'm saying that's the closest I've been.
You've been to Virginia, yeah.
I went to North Carolina a couple of times to play baseball, but besides that, like I've never traveled to North Carolina or anything. So
yeah, we should do that. It'd be fun.
You've never been to Tennessee, Kentucky? Like
you've been to Tennessee.
No. I mean, I'm sorry. I was trying to say I've been to Tennessee, but not like North Tennessee or Kentucky. Like I've wanted to go to Louisville.
Louisville's lovely.
Like Louisville/Cincinnati. Like I would love to go there, but we don't have the time and or energy to do that bullshit. So.
I like Louisville. I've been a couple times, but
I have not.
Anyway, but yeah, so like I said, there's a lot of crazy bullshit going on at this particular house in Colonial Williamsburg. And it's super spooky, and a lot of people are like, maybe don't go to that place at night because it's creepy.
We could fat travel blog it.
I mean, if anybody's interested in Southern Spirits fat travel vlogs, I think,
it's a separate
with a V.
thing. It's a subsidiary of Trash Adjacent Productions. It's called the Fat Travel Blog.
Vlog with a V. It's a video.
Vlog. Thank you. The Fat Travel Vlog. And we are going to video ourselves fitting in various plane seats. And or whatever else we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, this tour sucks. You have to walk a lot. Yeah, we're a little chafy. I recommend Body Glide. I have used, ever since you introduced me to that, like I didn't know. I chafed so much in my youth because I played baseball constantly, and like, oh my God, my thighs and my butt cheeks hurt so bad throughout my childhood. And now I put on Body Glide every day. If y'all don't know what Body Glide is, look it up. It's the anti-chafe balm. And it's expensive, but God damn, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth every penny.
I learned about that in marching band in high school. So.
Yeah. And see, I didn't know about it until fucking 3 years ago when you told me.
Wool suits will
5
do a
years.
number on your thighs if your thighs touch. So it's probably a really good idea. But
yeah. So does skin. Skin does a real number on your thighs, like when it rubs together constantly. The problem always arose when we played not back-to-back doubleheaders, but when you play in like baseball tournaments, you'll play a game at like 9 o'clock, and then you'll play again at like 4 o'clock. So you sweat, it sits there, and then you go out and sweat again, and then all that salt from your sweat just fucking sits there and rubs. So that's what happened. Like if we played back-to-back games or even 3 straight, I never really had a problem, but it's when you sat in between games that everything went wrong. My butt cheeks hurt constantly. Y'all, oh my God, there were times when my thighs, I thought like my thighs were almost bleeding. It was so bad.
Chub rub, it's a real problem.
So bad.
So that can be one of our travel tips.
Yeah.
How to prevent chub rub.
Every top fat travel vlog brought to you by Body Glide.
Body Glide.
Constantly. Oh my God, I wish we had a sponsorship. If you're going to charge me $10 a stick, fucking sponsor me. That's all that I've got. Are you okay?
I'm fine, but can you just imagine if we do make a travel vlog brought to you by our sponsors at Body Glide?
Brought to you by Leah. Fucking embrace it.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely, we should embrace it. They have Body Glide. Like the Body Glide I get is in a blue like deodorant thing.
Yeah.
And then they have Body Glide for women. I'm like, it's the same shit.
It's the same thing. It's just pink.
Yeah, it's just in a pink bottle.
Yeah. And it costs more, I think.
Does it cost more? God, everything women costs more. Fucking look, I've had girlfriends and I've been shopping, but like getting married especially and going shopping is like women pay so much for clothes.
Yeah.
It is outlandish what you pay just to fucking dress yourself.
Yeah.
Every time we go to Belk, my jeans are buy one, get 2 free. So I get 3 pairs of jeans for $80 and you get like a shirt for $40, $50.
Yeah.
Every time.
No, I don't do that because I shop on clearance rack. But
a top. It's not a shirt.
No.
It's a fucking top.
I shop on the clearance rack, so I've never spent that much money on a single shirt. But
yeah.
You know,
well,
if
like
you
seeing
like
designer
normal,
prices, yeah.
If you paid normal prices, yeah, you'd be paying that. I don't do that because I'm cheap as shit. And I honestly don't care what I look like. So there you go. Should probably change that if we're going to be travel vlogging. But anyway, so are you ready for our toast of the? Oh no, wait.
Are we done?
Yeah, that was everything. I just wanted to tell you the sources.
Fucking keep going.
Yeah. Wikipedia, obviously. Colonialghost.com because fun, and actually the William and Mary's College paper paper has a fun article about that house, and it's called The Flat Hat is the name of the paper.
I think I should send an email to Body Glide and see if they'll sponsor it.
Mitchell, come on.
Like I pay attention to you doing that, but like that's in my head now.
Okay, well, can we finish this out with a toast, and then you can send your Body Glide email?
We need a fucking agent. We need somebody to handle this shit for us. There's so many fat people products that we should be pushing that we could be getting for free.
There
and getting
are a
some
lot of
money
fat
for.
people products.
We don't get any fucking sponsorship money. Like we had the bath bombs thing for a little while, but that was, they were friends of ours.
Yeah,
we weren't
it
going
was
to charge
local
them
stuff.
a lot of money or anything. But like, I want some fucking corporate sponsorships, y'all.
Yeah, sure.
End stage capitalism. Get what you can while you can, and get the fuck out.
If anybody has connections with Body Glide out there, we're available.
Oh, fuck
anyway.
yeah. Absolutely. The Gold Bond thing, like Gold Bond has their own thing. No, I'm going to talk about this. I know you want to speed it up. Gold Bond has their own thing, but the stick doesn't last like a quarter of the amount of the Body Glide. Body Glide's the original anti-chafe bomb. Leah, I need you to interact with me on this.
I'm ready to do my toast and get the
She's
fuck
so
in the bed,
frustrated.
man. You have talked about your sweaty, nasty thighs for long enough.
I am just saying Body Glide is a fucking godsend.
They are not paying us to say this.
No, not at all. That's why I'm going for it. Body Glide, you're a fucking godsend.
You're drunk. Can I please finish this so we can put you to bed and me to bed?
$1,000 a year and all the Body Glide I can give. That's all I want. That'll take care of so much of everything. Body Glide, hit me up. Gold Bond, you're fine. I don't care for your product, though.
How do I turn off your microphone so I can finish my thing?
You don't. I've got the board. You don't.
Okay, everybody, hoist your Oscar the Grouch mug high into the sky.
Leah's drinking tea.
I am. We're going to be toasting. All right, here we go. His arm was taken by friendly fire and had to be amputated, but try as hard as those bullets did, his death it came belated.
Oh.
A spooky crimson house is all filled up with ghosts waiting for you to visit and meet its spectral hosts. Drink.
All right. Everybody, cheers. Really nice toast this time.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that toast.
Thanks.
And, excuse me, I really enjoyed the stories, too.
Yay.
Those were fun. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have all the burps, though.
You've got to calm down.
And it made me want to... I won't say made me want to. It piqued my interest into Williamsburg.
Look, if I can keep peeking that, I will do it because I fucking love Williamsburg.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that I got obsessed with as a little kid, and my grandparents were like, hey, we've always wanted to go too. Would you like to come? And it was just the only trip that I ever took by myself with my grandparents.
Because everybody else is like, that's fucking lame.
None of the other grandchildren.
Do they have an arcade or anything?
No. Because I'm the only girl in like the grandkids, and the rest of them didn't give a fuck about Colonial Williamsburg. So my grandparents were like, yeah, sure, let's all go together. And anyway, I saw like a glass harmonica being played, and like I'm a big Ben Franklin fan. I know that's fucking weird, but like
do you have Coke in a glass harmonica?
No.
Mitch Hedberg, everybody.
Yeah, I gotcha. But
I know you do. I'm talking to everybody.
I get it. But like I was a huge Ben Franklin fan as a kid. Like that was the founding father that I like really wanted to know more about. Like I was really into it.
I don't think anybody's ever said that.
Yeah, I know it's weird, but like that was my thing. I loved Ben Franklin, and he invented an instrument called the glass harmonica. And while we were there, we actually got to see someone playing a replica, and it was just the most haunting, beautiful sound. And like I would love to go back and hear it again.
I don't know that I've ever heard an actual glass harmonica.
Harmonica.
Yeah.
No H.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that part, so thank you very much for that.
Glass harmonica, not a harmonica. But it's a bunch of crystal glasses on a spindle that you...
playing the glasses like you wet your fingertips.
Yeah, exactly the same thing, but it's on a spindle, and you pedal it with your foot, so it's maintaining a constant spin.
Yeah.
And so you can wet your fingers down here, and you play it like a keyboard. And
I have seen that,
it's beautiful, and it's...
It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. fascinating.
And it's got its own like paranormal like situation along with it that people think it makes you go crazy or see ghosts. But anyway,
it's one of those.
It's just a really beautiful instrument,
tones,
and
yeah.
I loved it. But anyway, that was a tangent. Please outro us.
No.
This is a long ass fucking episode.
Yes, it's a long episode, and I'm enjoying it. Are you not enjoying yourself? Okay,
You've
really
talked
drunk.
about Body Glide for half an hour, sir.
I'm really drunk, so that's probably why I'm enjoying myself. But, Leah, this is... Come on. I'm having a great time. Are you not having a great time? No. Leah hates everything.
We passed a good time about 3 Body Glides into it.
3 Body Glides. 1 stick will last you 6 months. Body Glide. I have my pitch ready. Bring it on. No, it's the Gold Bond ones, I'm telling you, that go way too quick. The Body Glide stick lasts forever.
Yeah, I know.
Y'all, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I'm telling you, it's on Amazon. You can find them there. They are expensive, but fucking shit, they're worth it. They look expensive because it's like $24 for 2 sticks. But then, I'm telling you, that's going to last you at least a year of those things. And I put it on every morning, just in case I'm at work and have to do something physical. Because every once in a while I have to like move some paper or something. Or like, anyway. Sometimes I have to do things that would make me chafe.
And that was the state of Mitchell's thighs.
Hey, I'll talk about them anytime. Anytime I get out of the shower, I put Body Glide on immediately. It's the first thing I do. Because the first thing I do out of the shower is put on underpants. So, I put the Body Glide on first. Then
No
the
one
underpants.
needs to know this.
I think everyone does. You're supposed to, it's like deodorant. You have to put it on while you're still a little wet, in the area. You're supposed to, yeah. I mean, look on the bottle. Don't put it on while you're dry. It's not going to do shit. You got to at least wet the stick. You're with me. Leah, I need you to make any noise at this point. Like, don't sit there in silence. Don't just sit there silent. Please. For the love of God.
We are literally at an hour and a half, and half of the content has been you talking about your wet, chafy thighs.
God, that sounds at the moment. Oh, I said the D word.
Yeah, you need to stop
I
that.
haven't done that in weeks. Months, maybe. Anyway. All right, everybody. Follow us on all of our social medias. You know where to find them. Go to YouTube to watch this video if you want to. The cat was on the table for a minute. So that was fun. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast. Send us an email, southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. Send us a postcard or anything else fun to P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama 35640. I think that's everything. I'm not going to list the social media things anymore. So is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
We're good?
Yeah.
Is there anything I left out?
Nope.
All right, everybody. We hope you enjoy yourselves, and we hope that you seek out some Body Glide and that they give us some money for it. We'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.